Xiaomi 14 e ancora di più Xiaomi 14 Ultra hanno mostrato quanto sia salda la collaborazione tra Xiaomi e Leica, con un comparto fotografico di grande qualità. Abbiamo approfittato del Mobile World Congress 2024 per creare un'intervista doppia, per scoprire di più del dietro le quinte di questa partnership dal punto di vista di Leica e dal punto di vista di Xiaomi. In particolare abbiamo messo sul piatto 4 domande. Quanto tempo fa è cominciata la collaborazione tra Leica e Xiaomi? E quanto ci è voluto per arrivare ai primi prodotti in commercio? Su quali aspetti si è focalizzata la collaborazione? Hardware, sensore, ottica, software? Quali benefici possono avere gli utenti Xiaomi che acquistano uno smartphone con fotocamera marchiata Leica? La creazione del Xiaomi for Leica Optical Institute era prevista sin dall'inizio o è un'idea nata in corso d'opera? Vediamo un po' com'è andata questa intervista doppia.
Well, the cooperation started in 2021,
Okay.
and the first cooperation product was launched in July 2022. So we can say that it took almost 1 year for the first product to be co-engineered. Actually, it's everything is involved in the terms of what it's the camera. Leica cooperates since the very beginning, since the conception phase of the device.
Okay.
Then we, once we have agreed on what's the concept for that device, we start checking about the hardware components. So from the sensors, the lens design that we do together, if the OIS is going to be included or not, then all the different steps that come afterwards. So the image processing pipeline,
Okay.
it's also something that we cooperate together. And of course, the final stages, which are the image quality evaluation. After the tuning, we have to evaluate to guarantee that the quality of the images is up to the standards of Leica. I think one of the most important parts is that the user has the warranty that a brand like Leica is behind checking the image quality and that all the features work in a way that benefits the user experience. It came up during the cooperation.
Okay.
And actually, this is just to ensure that our partnership is a long-lasting technology partnership and that we believe in what we are doing. In this institute, we will do a lot of research that will come into the devices in the future.
So this is actually one of those fascinating things. These things require a lot of time commitment between the two companies to negotiate prior. I can't get into the specific details of when was the first day that we talked about this, when was the first day we met. But after Leica reached out to us and we began discussions about forming this potential partnership, and then we started aligning our values and thinking about goals, we first announced our partnership in the middle of Q1 of 2022. Just a few months later, the product was announced. To give you a concept, however, of how these things work, generally every product is working on a 9 to 12 month timeline. At the very minimum, developing a product, particularly when you're working with a brand like Leica, takes a minimum of 1 year. So discussions and cooperation was something that was already ongoing when the partnership had been announced and had been ongoing for many, many months. That's perfect because I've had this exact conversation with Leica very, very recently. It's everything at the end of the day. This is something that both Xiaomi and Leica can agree. No matter how good one of those aspects are, for instance, you have the best lenses in the world, which arguably Leica does, or some of the best sensors in the world, which we can very often source or we often custom create. Without all of these things working in harmony and unison, nothing is going to work well, even going as far as software backing. What I can say is that I think some of the greatest advancements have been made in lens technology between the two of us. So there's a lot of those. For me, the biggest personal takeaway is that these phones, for arguably the first time ever, have started to create a real optical feel to things. That was always one of the failings of smartphone photography, is they always looked like smartphone photos before. Now, for the average person, for people who are not very deep into photography, sometimes the results are indistinguishable from an actual, dedicated DSLR camera. So the Optical Institute, this is a formalization of something that was ongoing already. We already had a huge deal of on-site cooperation between the two companies. Leica will very often send some of their best and brightest to work with us at our optical labs in Beijing. So the formalization of this institute just means a more refined and more, dedicated long-term commitment to this process.